Hey guys, it's Hein here with Hobbies and Man. Once again, today we're doing another manga first impressions review. Today we're looking at the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. I basically tend to call this the Green Yuri just because that's way easier than that long ass title that repeats words unnecessarily. But yeah, so this is by Samiko Arai, and this was a Twitter manga, which means that there was a creator that put up stuff on Twitter every couple days or every couple weeks, I don't know. And she gained a following, and I say she because I'm assuming that Sumiko Arai is a woman. I'm not really sure. It would make sense that they were. So yeah, and then when Pixiv started developing manga, she joined Pixiv, and now this is a Pixiv manga. And then eventually someone picked it up. I can't remember which company picked it up. I think probably Kadokawa, right? Because they're part of Yen Press, and Yen Press is the one that's releasing it here in English. And eventually it was published, right? There are currently 2 volumes out in Japan right now. There is a 3rd coming, but the thing is that because this is done in a very short way, and it takes a long time for the creator to do this, the schedule of it is really, really slow. This is published by Panini in Mexico, which is where I got it, because you can see right there, here's what it looks like on the side, and here's what it looks like on the back. And this cost me, let's see, I think it was 189 pesos, although I bought it at a discount, probably like 170 pesos, which I guess in US money would be like $8 or something like that. It depends on what day and which way you're translating the money, right? Because if you translate from here to there versus there to here, the exchange rate is slightly different. But basically it's half of what I paid for in Spanish, divided by 10 as well. So divided by 20 essentially, right? So yeah, if I paid 170 pesos for this, it was probably about $8.50, $9, something like that. Yeah, $8.50 or so, which is cheaper than it would be here in the States. I think it's $14 here in the States, and I don't think it's actually going to be the size. This is an A5. I think the American version is a smaller size. It's kind of like a normal size Tankobon. And the reason I got it from Mexico, 1, it was on sale. 2, it's cheaper than getting it here in the States anyways. And 3, is because I always like that these series and these things that have a special kind of vibe to them are kind of respected by Mexico more so than they are by the US, right? Like Yen Press specifically doesn't really respect some stuff sometimes that it bothers me, because I bought I Want to Be Praised by a Gamer Gal, and that one was supposed to have spot coloring, and because it wasn't printed that way in Japan, Yen Press decided to just do the same thing, even though the point of the manga is that it has spot coloring. And so they didn't decide to do any of the extra work necessary to bring us the best product possible, and that's really annoying. However, and actually because I didn't trust them to do the same with this one, is why I got this from Mexico, just because all 3 of those things combined made it easier, and because I like the Mexican manga, including little gift and stuff like that. So here is a bookmark. It's not that special, and I think the second book also has a bookmark. I ordered it recently, so I should get it in December. And the Spanish edition, or the Mexican edition, also comes with a dust jacket. Here's what it looks like. Nothing on the inside. That's what that looks like. And because they also respect the Japanese stuff on the inside, here's what the inside of the book looks like. So this is all information about the character on this side. And on the other side, we have the gal character. And of course, this is colored on the inside like it is in the digital edition, right? I don't know if the Japanese edition has the green stuff or not, but the whole book has green all over it, right? So yeah, this is a pretty interesting story. One, I love the usage of green. I think it's cool. I like that it is a kind of highlighter green, because it's very vibrant and pops and it looks cool. And I think the artwork looks amazing. I think it's very, very well done, except for some bits and pieces here. It looks like there are certain perspectives that this creator is just not good at capturing, and those look really funny. They're not good, but they're at least enjoyable in some way, right? Even if it is just because you're making fun of how bad they look. But this is published by Panini in Mexico, by Yen Press in the US. It's a shoujo title. I'm not really sure who decided that. I guess it's the magazine that decided to publish the collected volumes of it. And the genres here are slice of life and romance. It does not have an adaptation. I doubt it ever will get one, or maybe it will get one, but one of those like 3-minute animation types, because it's very unlikely for this story to get enough content for a anime for a long time, just because of the pace at which it releases, right? And the premise is that there's this gal, and even though she's a gal and really popular, there is a hobby, which is kind of her main hobby, that no one really understands, which is music, and specifically rock and roll, an old style rock and roll, American rock and roll. And so when her friends, kind of talk to her about this, they aren't interested. They're just being polite, and she notices this and doesn't like that she can't share her passion for this music with anyone else. One day she goes to this shabby record store and she finds this character who seems to be some cool older kind of punk guy. And it turns out that this is not a guy at all. It's actually her classmate who sits next to her, who looks completely different because she dresses like a sad girl at school, within the confines of their uniform. And then she dresses like an awesome badass dude when she's not at school. And so for the first third or so of the book, the concept is these two girls sit next to each other and don't know who the other is. Eventually, our Oni-san character, the guy character that's not a guy, realizes that there's something going on. Another character realizes that there's something going on. And then their relationship kind of changes a little bit when the character wants to try to be more friendly with the gal, even without the barrier or the kind of fake, persona that they have. And it all kind of crashes down a little bit in the middle of the story, where the gal character finds out, feels betrayed, but also so happy that she finally has a friend that she can talk to about music. And then in the third kind of portion of the story, we move on to the fact that the guy character that isn't a guy feels like they're stealing the gal character away from her other friends, that the gal character is spending so much time with them, that she is losing her popularity. She's not being who she is meant to be. And so she tries to do something to make it easier for the gal. And the gal doesn't like this because she wants to be friends with this girl. Everything else doesn't really matter, right? And overall, it's really fun. I think that the storytelling is a bit off. And that might be the translation. Just when things are translated to Spanish over English, I don't completely understand them sometimes, just because of the language barrier. Because even though I am Mexican and I did grow up speaking Spanish and stuff, my ability to read and stuff is pretty stagnant. Basically, I'm like at a 3rd or 4th grade level compared to, Mexican people my age. But it's not significant enough of an issue for me to not be able to read Spanish. It's just like sometimes things don't exactly work, right? At least they don't sound like they work for me in my head. And so I get a bit confused. I just kind of power through it and move on. And eventually becomes clear, right? If I read this again, I would understand it better. But so sometimes it feels like the story doesn't flow naturally. But if I was reading it in English, I might not have that complaint. So I'm not really sure if it's true or not, right? So yeah, overall, cute. I love the concept of it. I think the English version will have all of these green spots all over it, so you shouldn't be missing out on much. But you might do. So if you do, maybe buy it from a different country. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the guy she was interested in. Wasn't a guy at all, the Green Yuri. Let me know what you think about it down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys later.